Okay, so welcome to today's class. Today a little bit of an easier class. We're going to start off with the Tibetans today, the 5 Tibetan rites. So having enough space so that you can do the spinning. First of all, stand in the middle of your mat in the mountain pose, bringing the feet together, the inner ankles, the inner heels touching, and then lifting the knees, drawing the thighs onto the thigh bones. Draw the buttock flesh at the back towards the heels to gently lift the pubic bone slightly up. Draw the abdomen towards the back abdominal wall. Keep the bottom ribs contained, but broaden the sternum and the collarbones. From the outer shoulders, stretch into the fingertips. So the base of the neck, the shoulder blades, the upper shoulders move towards the back waist, downwards. And then from the base of the neck, we lengthen the neck so that the crown of the head goes straight up. And then just seeing that the body is stacked. So if you lean slightly forward and slightly back, you can feel where the body can rest in equilibrium, in a physical balance with gravity. Looking straight ahead, find a focusing point to look at, and then just take an easy breath in, drawing the breath down first, and then allowing the chest to rise, and breathing out, and just following the breath for a couple of sessions, a couple of rounds in and out. And then just checking that you have enough space, we're going to do the spinning. So we're going to spin clockwise and just take the arms out to the side and then just gently spin clockwise. We're going to do 9 rounds today. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, and then coming back to the mountain pose, allowing the body to steady so you can have your feet further apart. Once the balancing settles, bring the feet together and bring the hands to the chest. Gently pressing the thumbs into the sternum and pressing the sternum into the thumb. Upper shoulders away from the ears and looking straight ahead, taking a deep breath in and out and in and out. So the resting poses after each Tibetan rite is there just to notice what the rite has done and how the energy then shifts in the body. And then release from that. Now we're going to come to the second rite, which is the J. So lying down on your mat, in the lying down mountain pose. And with these Tibetan rites, we're going to work with the breath. So you use your own breath as the length of your, how quickly you do the different rites. And we're going to do 9 of each. To protect the lower back in this one, we're going to bend the knees. So in this one, you breathe in, bend the knees, Take the head up and then straighten the head, the hands up to the feet up to the ceiling. Breathe out, bend the legs and take the legs down into the lying down position. Breathe in, bend the legs, straighten, look up with the head. Breathe out, bring the legs down. That's 2. Breathe in, 3. Breathe out. Breathe in, 4. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Try and draw the breath down first when you're breathing in. So this is 6. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then 7. And 8. Breathing in. Go slowly. And then the last one, 9. And then when you finish the 9th one, resting in the lying down position, just rest there. Just take a deep breath in and out. Try and get the breath to be a circular pattern. The wave, you pull the breath down first, circular pattern as the breath falls up, goes towards the chest, the wave recedes back to the belly. And then release from that, just bend the knees, turn to the side and come up. And the next one is the camel pose. So being on your knees, if you have sore knees, you can place blanket underneath the knees. Place the knees directly underneath the hips. Have the shin bones going back in a straight line. Have the feet going back in a straight line. And we take the hands on the hips. So on the in-breath now, we're breathing in, lift the chest, and look up at the ceiling. And then breathing out, bring the head all the way back down and bring the chin to the chest. Just going at your own pace, breathing in. Breathe in. It's 3. Really open the chest. Get it to be a nice, smooth action. Smooth and slow. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Open the chest. Number 8. And last one, number 9. And then just coming down on your knees. So the knees together, the heels together. And we just take we come down into the child's pose. Take the arms behind you. You can rest the forehead on the floor. And then release, taking the hands underneath the shoulders, breathe in and come up. And then the next one is the tabletop. So we're going to be seated in this position with the legs straight out in front of you, the legs together and straight. Take the hands behind and have the fingers pointing towards the feet. Try to get the chest to come perpendicular to the hip, the hip socket, where that hip socket is. So on the in-breath now we breathe in, just bend the knees and lift the chest up, take the head back. Breathe out, coming into the Dandasana position. So you have the feet slightly apart. Breathing in, really open the chest, press the hands, press the feet. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. It's 4. Breathe in. 5. Breathe in. 6. Really draw the breath down first, even, and follow the movement with the breath. 7. 8. And last one, 9. And then when you finish them, you just bend the knees and take the forearms around the knees and lift the spine, looking straight ahead. Deep breath in and out, and in and out. And then releasing from that, now we just come to the all fours. So having the hands just slightly ahead of the shoulders, hips underneath, the knees underneath the hips, tuck the toes under, and now this time we don't breathe out into the downward dog, we breathe in into the downward dog. So breathing out, when you breathe in, lift the hips up, downward dog, and then breathe out, up into the upward facing dog. Breathe in, up dog, breathe out, down dog, up dog. Breathe in, down dog, breathe out, upward dog. So we're keeping on the undersides of the toes. Breathe in, downward dog, and breathe out, upward dog. Breathe in, down dog, breathe out, upward dog. 6, breathe in, downward dog, Breathe out, upward dog. Breathe in, downward dog. Breathe out, upward dog. Breathe in, downward dog. Breathe out, upward dog. And then breathing in, last one, downward dog. Breathing out, upward dog. And then bringing to release from this pose, we bring the feet together, the knees apart. We sit on the heels, we just walk the trunk forward. You can rest the forehead on the mat and the elbows on the mat. Again, breathing in, deep down first, then up, and then releasing the breath back down again. And then taking the hands underneath the shoulders, breathing in and coming up. There we go. And then just grab your blocks. We're going to do the lying down hero pose again today. So having your blocks, we're going to first of all stretch against the wall the quadriceps. These are these front muscles. So kneeling in front of the mat with just the toes touching the wall. Have your blocks nearby. And now taking the right knee between the floor and the wall with the right shin going up the wall. So I'll show you from this position, like so. So if you want to try to, so first come forward and then try to come upright. Now if you're finding it very difficult, have the knee slightly away from the wall. And then using the blocks you can now try to bring the trunk more upright. Also trying to take the right hip slightly forward in line with the left hip. And then just breathing in and out. Allow that muscle to release on its own. So don't rush it. Don't allow the muscle to become hard. Rather slow down this stretching process. Work with your own body. And then just releasing from that. Bring the right knee down next to the left knee. And now we take the left knee to the corner of the floor and the wall. And then using the blocks, become more upright. Just work with your body, don't rush it. As the quadriceps muscle starts releasing, gently start moving the left hip forward and bring the trunk more upright. And then release and bring the leg down. And now we're going to use the strap and the bolster. And we're going to use, and have a blanket nearby as well, we're going to use the bolster lengthways on the left hand side. So leave this gap on the right hand side. We're doing the, so we're going to be having the knee, the right knee bent like so, but we're going to have the left leg straight, like so. Now if the hips are doing this and going to the side, then use a blanket. We want only the bolster underneath the left buttock bone. And then if it's too low, then you can use a little bit of a blanket underneath the left buttock bone to keep the hips level. Make sure that the right foot is pointing straight back. We can now gently just lean onto that right foot to allow it to rotate slightly outwards and to draw the outer shin bone down. So just lean back. And then coming upright, we now take the strap around the left foot. And we're going to just come forward slightly, not very much, so we're almost upright, just slightly forward. We're going to now pull on the strap and then draw the chest through the arms. Keeping those hips level, you have to draw slightly the outer right hip down, keep the left leg straight. And if you want to come forward slightly, and looking slightly up, draw the chest through the arms. Keep drawing that right outer hip down to keep the hips level. And then just releasing from that. And now we just straighten the right leg and then take the bolster to the right hand side of the mat. So straightening both legs, we now bend the left knee and we have the support and under the right buttock. Take the strap around the right foot. Making sure that there's good support and that the hips are absolutely level. And then coming slightly forward, not a lot, take hold of the strap. Now drawing on the strap, we take the chest through the arms. Straighten the right leg, draw the right thigh down, draw the left outer hip down. Right leg stays straight. You can come forward slightly. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then release. Very nice pose that. There's a strengthening in the spine that happens. Now we're going to just have both legs straight. We're going to come into the staff pose and try to recreate that same strength that we felt when putting on the strap. But now we can first of all pull on the strap, so just having the strap there. So we're just going to make sure that your shoulders and hips are again in a straight line. So holding the strap and now breathing in, draw on the strap to take the chest forward. Draw the thighs down. Freedom comes into the abdomen as we draw the breath down. And as the breath rises to the chest, allow the chest to open and to broaden. But draw it forward through the arms. Upper shoulders away from ears, shoulder blades towards the back waist. and then letting go of the strap. We're now going to do that without the strap. So drawing the thighs down. Now we have to really draw the thighs down to get the pose to be stable. Watch out not to overbend the backs of the knees, rather stretch into the heels and draw the thighs, the knees up. We can take the hands next to the hips on the fingertips and take the elbows back. Imagine you're pulling on that strap now and draw the chest through the arms. Again, upper shoulders away from ears, shoulder blades towards the back waist, thighs drawing down. Same effect, but now without the strap. Keep the back of the neck long, lengthen into the crown. And then release from the staff pose. Okie dokie, so we've been building up to do the lying down hero pose. So this is where we need to work with wherever you are in this hero pose. We're first going to do the one-legged lying down hero pose. So you can use a blanket or a block for the left buttock bone. The right buttock bone, the right knee will be bent. We're going to take the left leg straight in front. So we're going to try to now come down. So just make sure that the bolster is long enough for you to rest your head. So use blankets or foams or anything to build up that height. I'm going to use extra blanket. You can even use more blankets on the height of the bolster. Okay, so bending the right knee, have the left buttock bone on the support of the block or the blanket, whatever you've got, and having the left leg straight. And now we're first going to come down onto the hands and then the elbows. Now the idea in this pose is to not arch the back too much. So as we now start lowering down, we're drawing the left thigh down, the right outer hip down, and then as we now come down, we lengthen the lower back ribs away from the lower back, so that we're not arching the back. Keeping the front ribs, try to contain them. So when we're very tight in the thighs, we tend to arch the back, rather allow the knee to lift or to go wide. And then as the body settles down, you can start bringing the right knee towards the left knee and start bringing it closer to the ground. So the left thigh moves down and the right outer hip down to keep these hips level. Also try to get the sensation that the right outer shin is drawing down. So this is now the one-legged reclined hero pose. Just release into it. And now if it's in it for you, you can even take the arms above the head. Keeping the hips level, this is one of the main things we want to maintain. Keeping the lower back not crunching. We stretch the right knee away from the hips, stretch the left foot away from the hips, and then stretching the arms away from the shoulders. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Try to just release into the pose. And also we've got to try and see that the support is the right height for the left buttock. It mustn't be too high or too low. You can now even take the forearms and fold them above the head. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Allow that right thigh to quieten. Find the lengthening in the front of the spine. So often when we're bending forward, it's shortened, so we're lengthening the inside ligaments of the spine. And then releasing from that. And now first coming up onto the elbows. And then come up onto the hands. And then use the hands to press the chest up. Bring the head up last. And then straightening the right leg. I need to move slightly away from the wall. Take now the support for the left buttock bone. The right buttock bone, and we're going to bend the left leg back. So get the right height. This is slightly too high for me, so rather get another blanket to get exactly the right height for you. So the right leg is straight, left leg is bent. Again, just before we're going down, we're going to just lean onto the outer left foot to allow it to straighten, allow the shin bone to rotate, the outer shin bone to rotate towards the floor. And you'll feel it brings space to the back of the knee. And then coming up. And now first we're going to come down now, first onto the elbows. Get the right, got to fine tune this height here. So remember, we want to create length of the spine away from the hips. And so if the left thigh, front thigh is too tight and it's constricting that, allow the left knee to lift up. Just so that for the time being we can create the length in the spine. So coming down now slowly, lengthen the spine away from the hips as you come down onto the support. Again, feeling the equalness of the hips. So we've got to draw the right thigh, mid-thigh down, stretching into the right heel, and drawing the left outer hip down to keep those hips level. And from here we lift the lower back ribs away from the lower back. And we draw slightly these front ribs towards the spine. So working with the body as the left thigh starts quietening down, you can bring it closer to the floor and closer to the right knee. And also not to hurt the left knee, work with your own body. So the left outer hip drawing down to keep those hips level. Left outer shin drawing down. As the body starts opening up, you can now take the arms above the head. So either first you can just fold the arms at the elbows, or if you want to, you can stretch the arms back. We really want to try to find length in the spine, so the right foot and the left knee away from the hips and the arms away from the shoulders, but not by arching the back. Draw the front ribs towards the spine, lengthen the lower back ribs away from the lower back. And then quietening into the pose. If your knee starts aching, then rather stop and come into another pose where the knee isn't hurting. But we're working with the mechanics of the knee, so it should be okay. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Find that rhythm of the breath. And then releasing the arms. First coming up onto the elbows. Lift the chest up. Then come up onto the hands. And then use the hands to lift the chest up. Bring the head up last as you come up. Okie dokie. And now we're ready for the Virasan pose proper. So let's see how we go. We're going to bring the knees together and the feet on either side of the bolster in front, so that the sacrum comes just in front of the edge of the bolster. And now we're going to just gently lean on the outer edges of the feet. Press them towards the floor as you lean back, and allow the outer shins, as you lean back, allow the outer shins to roll down towards the floor. So it creates some nice space in the back of the knee. And now we're going to just come down slowly. First come down onto the elbows. Get the hips to find the support. And now as you come down onto the support, lengthen the spine away from the hips. The lower ribs away from the hips. If you find that the back is arching, you can draw the buttock flesh towards the back of the knees and lift more the lower back ribs. In the beginning as well, you can allow the knees to lift, allow them to be apart. Just allow first the thighs to quieten down. And then lifting the lower back ribs away from the spine. Really don't want any pinching in the lower back. So draw the front ribs down. And then you can slowly start bringing the knees together and towards the floor. Try to relax in the position. Feel the spine at the front part of the spine, the front, all the vertebrae on the front edge. Allow that area to lengthen. And lastly, we take the hands either folded elbows behind the head, or we can stretch the arms above the head. Lengthening the knees away from the hips and lengthening the arms away from the shoulders and the shoulders away from the hips. Very, very good pose for lengthening, helping. It's almost a traction on the spine, but bring the stretch to the front of the spine, because then we're stopping the arching in the lower back, which is not lengthening. Lift the ribs away from the hips. Throat soft. Lengthen the hands away from the shoulders. Lengthen the side ribs. Feel that length there. Give your breath in, drawing the breath down first, and then filling the lungs up, and then allowing the breath to recede. At the end of the out breath, feel that fascial constriction and lengthen the hips and the knees and the arms more away from each other. And then release. First bring the arms back, and when we breathe in, we just come up onto the elbows. And then lift up slowly onto the hands, and then use the hands to press the chest up and bring the head up last. And now we're going to just stretch the back of the knees, so coming to a kneeling position, just lengthen the right leg back, stretch into the heel, lift the right thigh muscle up, really opening up that back of the knee. And then taking the left foot back, stretching into the left heel, draw that left thigh muscle strongly onto the left thigh bone, stretch into the heel and open the back of the knee. There we go. That should be feeling fantastic. Okie dokie. And now we're going to use the same props that we have here. Now we're going to come into the lying down cobbler pose. So we're just going to lie next to the mat. Have two blocks so that you can place them underneath the thighs nearby. Today we're going to make a loop with the belt, but the belt today goes around the knees. So let me show you. So we're going to put it around like that and then just tighten it up. So that when we come down, the belt helps draw in the outer thighs inwards. Okay, so once you're in the position, so get the right tightness, not too tight, of the belt. There we go. So that when you can bring the feet closer to the perineum. So once you have your position, place your hands behind you. Just going to come into a brief cobbler pose. So just straightening the arms, lifting the chest up. And then slowly coming down again onto the elbows. And then lengthening the spine down the support. And then taking the blocks and just placing them underneath the thighs. I'm a little bit close to the wall here. I'm going to go a little bit skewed. There we go. So you should have space for to allow the knees to drop down. And then we take the hands on either side of the body. Now press the soles of the feet together. Try to press more the outer, so the soles of the feet that are touching the floor. Try to draw those parts of the sole also more together. You'll feel this draws in the outer thighs. You have a belt here now, so it's helping draw in the outer thighs, inwards. And then we find a lengthening in the spine. Trying to maintain the bottom front ribs are going to lift slightly, but try to maintain them by just gently drawing them back, lifting more the lower back ribs, finding length in the spine. So with the outer thighs and the inner soles pressing together, there's a natural opening of the chest. Use this to your full advantage to breathe. When you breathe down and then fold the lungs all the way to the top. Keep the upper shoulders moving away from the ears, so you can even draw slightly the elbows away from the shoulders, just to create more length in the neck. And then also draw the shoulder blades instead of just resting on the bolster. Now gently draw them back up onto the back ribs. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Flow with the breath. Try to quieten the inner thighs as you draw the outer hips towards the midline. Allow the knees to drop out. You might need to change the height of the blocks to allow that process. That as the inner thighs let go, the knees will start dropping more. And then releasing from that, just bring the knees together, and then you can just take the strap off the legs. And then turning to the side, and then pressing yourself up as you come up. And we're going to do the Savasana now, so just we're going to use the same support that we had before. We're just going to come down into the Savasana position now. Where we have the legs straight and the arms at the side. We can gently take the feet slightly apart. The lower edge of the bolster is really cutting into the mid of the back. So get that positioning right, because it helps to keep the chest broad. Now fully relaxing the legs, fully relaxing the arms. Gently just lengthen the legs away from the hips, so that the soles of the feet, you might not do it, but just intentionally try to lengthen the feet, the legs away from the hips, to just so that the hips aren't crunching up, the lower back isn't crunching up. And also now take the arms and just lengthen the elbows away from the shoulders. The arms are not directly against the trunk, there's a gap between the arms and the trunk. And now roll the arms outwards so that the palms face the ceiling. Now just double checking that your head is resting on the exact middle of that back skull bone on your support, that the arms and legs are level, so that if you had to take a level, they would be level across the shoulders and the hips. And also see that the support is allowing the trunk to feel evenly weighted on the left and right hand side. And slowly allowing the muscles now to release, to let go. Softening the muscles in the face. Allow those muscles to release, to soften. Allow the eyes to drop deeper into the eye sockets. And with the eyes closed, take the gaze of the eyes towards the chest. Relaxing the tongue away from the teeth, allow it to sit in the bottom palate. Relax the jaw in front of the ears. And allow the throat to fully release. And as these areas all release downwards, the neck at the back lengthens into the crown. And then broaden and release the collarbones. Allow them to stretch from the midline out towards the shoulders. And then release the hips. Allow them to become heavy and fall deep and heavy into the floor. And as you do that, the whole abdominal cavity releases. All the organs rest back into the bottom of the abdominal cavity. And the diaphragm is now free and easy to breathe. Again, when you breathe in, first draw the breath down. Allow the diaphragm to also feel as if it's broadening when you breathe in. From the bottom, it fills up all the way right to the top of the lungs. With a gentle pause, and then you release slowly, with control, the breath back towards the belly. Gentle pause, and then you draw the breath down again. So notice the sensation of the breath as it enters and exits through the nostrils. As you release and relax more and more, your breath, it almost feels like you're breathing in directly through the sinuses instead of through the nostrils. And as you breathe out, try to control the out-breath so that you're breathing out through the center of the nostrils. Soft and smooth. Try not to have any jagged areas in the breath. Keep it soft and smooth and delicate. So when the breath comes into the body, it's cool. And when it leaves, it's warm. Allow the eyes to remain soft. And when you breathe in, also try to maintain them dropping downwards. And then just fully let go. As we come out of the relaxation now, just gently increase the in-breath. And then just move the fingers and the toes, getting ready for action. Bend the knees one at a time. And take the right hand above the head. And then slowly turn and come off the support and rest the head on the right upper arm. Now gently open the eyes. Good. Keep a soft focus in the eyes for now. Then straighten the left leg and push yourself up with your left hand. As we come to sit in a nice erect seated position. And with that, namaste. Have a fantastic day.